Hi, we're back. By the way, sign up for the Rod Squad newsletter. It's free. It drops every Sunday, presented by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Speaking of shining, Dennis Bernstein joins us, the LA bureau chief from NHL Radio. You don't mind me calling you that, do you, DB?
No, of course not. Coolius calls me that all the time. So, no,
I
absolutely not.
know. That's how I know. And the fourthperiod.com. All right, DB, joining us from Los Angeles. We got 20 minutes here. One question may take it all up. What's your take on the gold medal game, USA beating Canada in overtime 2-1, and then the ensuing fallout from Canadian hockey fans and media? Over to you.
Well, Nate said, what did he say? Who was the better team? The better team won the game. Simple as that, because they had the better goaltender. They executed when it counted. All right, so you could talk about you could talk about possession, you could talk about all those things. 5-on-3, didn't get it done. And the entire tournament, Rod, they weren't a very good team 5-on-5. They didn't produce much. Nate didn't produce much 5-on-5. So you could talk about it, but last year, Four Nations, I was in Boston. Yours should have won that game, but Bennington was the better goaltender. So they reversed roles here, and Hellebuck was fantastic. But I go back to someone, Rod, you know how players say they don't listen to the media, they don't read stuff? You kidding? Did you see the quotes after the game from Hellebuck? Oh, people don't understand goaltending. They don't understand my game. Vinny Trocheck. Yeah, I read the stuff. Like, me and GT Miller shouldn't have been on the team, but who killed the 5-on-3? So in the crucial parts of the game, the U.S. was better, and that's why they won the game.
Okay, so with the Nathan MacKinnon quote, let me go back. I took the quote to mean he felt Canada was the better team, but they just didn't win. You're saying Nathan MacKinnon said the better team won, which was USA?
No, I agree. No. The better team won because they executed at the right time. So if you want, here's the thing. Canada owned the spreadsheet. You want to go take home the advanced stats and put it on your wall and with your silver medal, that's great. Like, in a big spot, you didn't score a goal. You had a 5-on-3 with 5 elite players, and you couldn't get it done. Right? So, yeah, you weren't the better team. And not for nothing, they could have got knocked out in the quarterfinal. They could have got knocked out in the semifinal. So it wasn't like this was this team, okay, they dominated possession, but they dominated possession throughout the tournament, and all the games were close. So what does it tell me? You couldn't finish on your chances. You didn't bear down. So I'll debate the fact that you were the better team. If you're just looking at the shot clock, sure, that's not how games are won.
No, well, now we're getting somewhere. And I still want your take on the Canadian fans and media's reaction, because you're on NHL radio, headquartered out of Toronto all the time. So they're still crying over it. And we're realizing here, you just said, I'm Canada. I'm from there.
Yeah.
That's who I was cheering for.
Wave the flag.
We're used to, who doesn't? We're used to waltzing through these tournaments. We're used to it.
Sure.
And when we don't, it doesn't go over well. And maybe that's why we're sitting here today so upset,
Well, it's compacted, though, now. Look, Game 7, you got your Blue Jays shirt on, okay? Game 7. Women's Olympic gold medal game. Men's gold. It's 3. Now, you did win 4 nations. But here's the thing, Rod. The margins have gone away, and it's not just the U.S. and Canada. Like, Czechia could have beat Canada. Sweden could have beat the U.S. There's not much separating these teams at the elite level, right? And for the Canadians, look, here's the thing. Especially with women's hockey, I think the registration over the last couple of years has increased by 60%. Like, we're going to pass Canada in women's hockey. We already have. 32-2 goal differential. They're the better team. I joke they were the best hockey team in the entire tournament, men or women. And the U.S. is coming now. There's tons of kids watching Jack Hughes and last night score that goal, and they're going to be the future. Roger, remember when you played college hockey back in the day? You never played in the NHL, and people are trying to compare this to Miracle on Ice. I'm like, first of all, this team beats that team 10-0. It's not close.
Oh.
It was a massive upset for obvious reasons. Like, it was college kids playing against pros in 1980. But I think the magnitude of this game, because of the media platform it's on now, I think I watched the U.S. Russia game in TNA on delayed tape, Rod. Like, now, I don't know what the ratings are yet, but this is I'll say this: when it comes to hockey, Canada get used to it. There's not much separating these teams. Canada could win World Cup of hockey. They could win the next Olympics, but it's not a could. It's not an assumption anymore. When a couple of years ago it was.
That's today's meme. Get ready for the heat. Get used to it. You're not wrong. You know what it is, DB? The truth hurts. We all know that. The truth hurts. So we didn't win the Olympics. I went back and checked the World Juniors. Not that I needed to, but I'm just, wait a minute. When's the last time Sweden won last year, the World Juniors? USA 2 years before that. It's been since 2023. So this is not a pile on Canada thing, but this day was coming. Okay, this day was, it's not that to say that we're never going to win again, but I don't know. It was 1 goal in overtime. Maybe we're making too much of it, by the way.
Yeah.
It could have won.
We are. Yeah, no, there's no margins anymore, Rod. Like Finland could have, if Finland had Barkov, they could have won a gold medal. Like that's how close this is. I love, I had Finland. I love that team throughout. I called it. I said it's going to be U.S., Canada, Finland. That's how it's going to finish. Finland. Why were they successful? 3 things carry international hockey when it's a 1-game tournament, right? It's physicality, it's structure, and it's goaltending. And they got all those facets. Yeah, was that a high stick? Of course it was at the end of the game. Did Nate embellish that high stick? Yeah, and the NHL it probably gets called. But yeah, there's not much separating these things. So it's everything's going to be a toss-up. You look at the advanced odds for the Olympics right now, it's probably going to be U.S., Canada co-favorites, Finland third, Sweden fourth. But it's changed, Rob, because, look, let's be real. There's 335 million people in this country and more enjoying hockey and participating in hockey. So the sheer numbers, you're going to find the next Austin Matthews. You're going to find the next Jack Hughes. You have 3 Hughes brothers playing. Like the numbers, like when they stack up, when you could talk to population, that's what it's about. It's not that Canada's better or they have better players or U.S. It's the participation in the States that's evening things out.
It's great for guys like you and me. By the way, John in Winnipeg speaks for a lot of Canadians. John says, hockey is Canada's game, buddy. Americans are just cashing in.
It still is.
Yeah,
he's right. It's still Canada's game. No question.
There are those that just won't listen to logic. Now, before I want to talk about the next 40% of the NHL regular season, if that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Whatever's left. But you say get used to it. This is what I'm saying to the Tkachuk haters. You're sick of hearing about Matthew Tkachuk. You better get used to it because I believe he is now in the pantheon of the Erozionis, Jim Craigs, Dave Christians, Herb Brooks. He has to be. Little kids are going to be learning about Matthew Tkachuk. So if you're sick of him now, you better get some big earplugs.
He's a winner. 2 cups, 1 gold medal. He's a winner. Love him and you know what? When he was playing in Calgary, you probably loved him. And now he's playing in Florida and he's playing for the U.S., so you probably hate him. And again, it's okay. Look, he had the all-time Hall of Fame chirp to Leon Draisaitl on the bench. Like always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And the live mics picked that up. That was fantastic. It was great. He says these guys are just so competitive. And I think look, I understand the tension between the U.S. and Canada, but when these guys after the game talked about how they love being Americans and how they played for their country and how proud they were, that warmed my heart, given the climate around these 2 countries. These are kids that just understood what it's like to represent their countries. And I'm sure the same thing I'm sure if Canada won, that Nate and Connor and McCarr would have said the same thing. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways is how proud these athletes are played to represent as much money as they make. And it's always about the money, right, Rod? But these guys were getting paid to play in these games. It was great to see the pure competition of the sport and how much pride both teams had in playing for their country.
It was about pride. You just said it, how proud they were. And what's the old ABC thing? Thrill of victory, agony of defeat. The pride on the U.S. faces, the pain on the Canadian faces. Oh, my, that's what we love about sports, but it hurts when you're on the wrong side of it. Okay, so as we pick I'm saying the playoffs are starting now. How do you feel about the rest of the way in the National Hockey League?
They started 20 games ago. Again, Ron, there's no separation. In November, I said this. There was 1 team in 31 teams. The Avalanche were up here, and everybody else was down there. But if you look at the Avalanche lately, they're 4-5-1 into the break. And Rod, we talked about this season is unlike no other because of the Olympics, but because of the compressed schedule. And you thought schedule was compressed coming into the break? Watch what happens out of the break. Like the Kings here. They play 3 games in 4 nights coming out of the break. March is crazy with respect to the schedule. And on that, what's going to happen with Sidney Crosby? He didn't play the last 2 games. Pittsburgh's the number 2 seed in the Metro. Tampa's the number 1 seed in the East. Victor Hedman didn't play in the elimination game, right? Now, granted, Winnipeg, Marcy's out, but that doesn't really matter because they're out of it. There's not much separating these teams, Rod. And if Minnesota goes and gets a center at the deadline, maybe they trade for Trocheck, and Trocheck was taking pictures with the Wild staff during the Olympics, which was kind of funny. Like Colorado, there's not, Rod, it's up for grabs. It really is. There's probably 8 teams that could win it all, mostly in the West. But I wouldn't sell Tampa Bay short. I think Florida's done and cooked. I think the 2 teams that are cooked in the East is Florida and Toronto. Like they're cooked. I don't see anything happening there. But it's wide open, Ron. It's a sprint to the finish right now.
Well, I've talked, as far as I'm concerned, I've talked enough about Sergei Bobrovsky. But what do you think? I was afraid to even broach the subject around here about trading him because you've been in Florida enough to know he's such an icon here. But from a business move, it makes sense to move him. I think if he's willing to go, they will trade him. Do you know anything about that with Bob?
No, because I don't think they want to wave the flag yet. Like, I think, well, they've got, 5 or 6 games before the trade deadline. People think, the trade deadline's a month away. No, it's like a couple of games away. They could, but I don't think – what are you going to get for the guy? He's a rental. And where are you going to trade? Like, the team that would need him would be Edmonton. There's no way they're going to fit him in the cap space. Like, I would say if you're Edmonton, you trade for Binnington. But they can't fit him in either. So would it be smart? Would Bill Zito do it? Because Bill Zito, you know why he won 2 cups? He made all those trades. He didn't draft and develop anybody. He had a core. He made a million different trades. He traded for Rana. He traded for Bennett. He traded for all these guys. He got Forsing on waivers. I don't see the fit, Rob, because I don't know if you could fit that salary in the salary cap for a contending team. So I think he'll stay there. And I don't think they've waved the flag yet. But when you watch him play and you watch the team play and you see how banged up they are, and who knows how banged up Marchand is coming out of the break, and they have to climb over like 6 teams to get there. Look, they had a great run. Cup finals, 2 cup wins. Enjoy it and move on to next season.
Right, because they're not going away. All these guys are locked up long-term, except Bob, but we all know he'll be back in the summer. How long you been covering the Kings, by the way?
Since they opened Staples Center, which now is Crypto.com Arena, so I guess since 2000, 1999.
Right, so a quarter century. Dennis Bernstein with us, by the way, from NHL Radio, the LA Bureau Chief, and from the fourthperiod.com. I bring that up because you remember the Darryl Sutter era probably, and how they just pulled that. He replaced Terry Murray, and boop, they're in the Stanley Cup final and win it. Yeah. And now they got the Artemi Panarin debut Wednesday nights. These must be exciting times in L.A.
It is, until Kevin Fiala got his leg fell on by Tom Wilson. So it's like kind of a net, like the force multiplier that would have been with Panarin. It's now probably break even. It's a coin flip the Kings make the playoffs. But is it more exciting? It is. To have a player like that for a power play, I think that's 31st in the league, that you needed to make that move. The question is for LA, they'll have $15 million projected under the cap at the trade deadline. What else is Ken Holland going to do? He has to replace the offense. He's got to go get a player like maybe a Jonathan Marchessault out of Nashville. If you got him like on a retained salary deal, they need another offensive player. But it'll be exciting. They'll sell a lot of jerseys. He's happy to be here. He's on a 2-year extension. So I think it's a coin flip for making the playoffs this season. Around the question is, what do you do next season? Kopitar's retiring. Quentin Byfield's, they're moving him to left wing. That means you have no centers for next season. So it's going to be exciting to have Panarin here. It's going to be the game's more exciting because, Rod, I've watched all these games this year for LA. It's I feel sorry for the fans, and I go down to the concourse between periods. I don't stay up in the press box, and all you hear is like, "Wow, it's the same game. It's 2-1 every night, and it's boring." Wow. Panarin won't make it boring anymore.
Oh, no, not at all. Well, and as I'm not sure I told you, we're airing now across Nevada in prime time nightly. The Golden Knights, they wouldn't be in a playoff spot if they were in the Eastern Conference, yet they lead the Pacific. So what do you think's ahead for the Golden Knights in the Fortress?
Well, I use the term dog's breakfast when it comes to the Pacific because it's a mess, right? And it really is a mess. I think a couple of things. They have, 5 guys playing the gold medal game? When are they going to play? Are they going to play here in Los Angeles on Wednesday? Right? They should win the division. Here's the question. If you're legit, what's Hayden Hill? Is Hayden Hill the guy that won the cup a couple of years ago? Or is it Hayden Hill's playing now who looks really rusty and isn't the same guy? If they don't get goaltending, they won't win. Because, Rod, guess what happens? Like, why is Buffalo doing good this year? Oh, they got saves from somebody. If you don't get saves, Rod, I don't care what team you got. You're not winning. And that's the biggest challenge is Hayden Hill going to come through? Because Akira Schmid's not going to win you a Stanley Cup. Nice backup in case there's an injury. Hayden Hill has to be the guy. Is there enough talent on that team? Yeah. You got to hope that you get through the last 25 games without any injuries because this is an older team. Could they get out? Look, they should win the Pacific. They're better than Edmonton. They're better than everybody else. Are they better than the Central Division teams? I don't think so. I don't think they're better than any of those three teams. But if they could get goaltending, could they get over and get back to a cup final? They could. There's enough talent with respect to skaters, but it comes down to Hayden Hill and what he's going to be for the final 25 games plus.
Well, if Kelly McCrimmon, who was on this show last week, felt the need to acquire Sergei Bobrovsky, he'd find a way.
He'd find a way. He'd circumvent the salary cap like he always does. And yeah, but that's what you want as a fan. That's all you want. You want the owner to pay the price, and you want the GM to be aggressive. And there's no team more aggressive than the Vegas Golden Knights. So I wouldn't sell him short. I think he's happy with what he has because you think that if Hill is healthy and comes back to form, they have the components to win it. So maybe a depth add for Kelly, but and they've lost a ton of overtime games as well, which is kind of weird for this team. But we'll say they should win the Pacific though and be at least in the conference final.
Scott in Vancouver says the Pacific is probably the worst division right now. Not sure why that is. I would say it's just a fad. I don't think it's a trend. It's just the way things go.
It's like AFC, NFC in NFL. It year to year changes. Like his team, you know why I bet? Because of his team. That's a bad team. That's the worst team in the league right now. What did it do with Elias Pedersen? So he can blame his own team for being so bad. But there's some teams that are still rebuilding, right? Like San Jose and Anaheim, and they're coming. But it's all transitional, Rod. Like next year, we could say that the Metro might be the worst. So you never know.
Vancouver would be bad in any division. And by the way, DB, I just got a word from the producer. Don't be surprised if we get cut off here. So don't be offended. But I'll end this with this. You said that you were an LA Rams season ticket holder. They would have won the Super Bowl had they been in it, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. Had they had cornerbacks, they would have won. The defense let them down. They have to reinvent their cornerbacks, their defensive backfield situation. But look, the Patriots got a free ride. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl. So yeah, it was heartbreaking to see that. But I'm still proud of my team, and Matthew's coming back for another year. So they're going to reload and try to get back. And the Super Bowl's here in Los Angeles, and I was here in 2021 when we won. So we'll see. Hopefully, we could do it again 6 years later.
Well, when they lost the conference championship, there was talk of Sean McVay stepping down. I'm like, what? Again, the media is driving me nuts, DB. We have to have a talk next time I see you. The media is why would he step down? He's on top of the world.
Because Amazon will give him $20 million to be an analyst. That's why.
To go to TV and not have the stress. Do people not understand? Coaches coach. That's what they do. They don't like being on the
Amen, Rod. You got it right. That guy's born to be a coach. There's no way. He'd do it for a year and then come back and start coaching again.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Next time I was remiss in Tampa. I watched you from afar do your craft. I'm going to jump up and grab a selfie of the two of us together for when we have promo when we're coming on together. I didn't want to bother you. Yeah. So
you're never
what's your next?
I'm a public fan.
What's your next road trip? He's gone. What'd I tell you? Sorry, DB. Don't be offended. Dennis Bernstein, NHL Radio. We'll be right back on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network after this.